Hello comic book junkies, it's the Frog Queen here, and today I'm back with another one of my what am I currently reading episodes. So let's just dive right into it. I've been reading so much, and I feel like I haven't actually done one of these videos in a couple weeks. Usually I try to do like one every couple weeks. I think it's probably been nearly a month, but regardless, I thought I'd try to pick up and pretend that there was no missing time there. Anyway, I've actually had an opportunity to finally read this, or start reading it, I should say, which Punk Rock Jesus by Sean Murphy. Of course, we all know Sean Murphy. He's fantastic. He's worked with great people like Mark Millar. I'm actually really intrigued about this. I've always wanted to read it. It came out at a time when I just couldn't afford to pick it up. I had so many series on the go already. Of course, this is a Vertigo book, and of course, it has lovely, not so lovely Vertigo paper. It feels basically like newsprint. Not so great, but I think we're all kind of used to Vertigo's paper in general. I really like this whole idea of cloning Jesus from the Shroud of Turin and then implanting it into a virgin's womb is so messed up. It makes me want to read more stuff by Sean Murphy, like just stuff that he's written himself. I did, of course, read Joe the Barbarian that he did, but that was not written by him, of course. And it was great, and it was beautiful. And this is all black and white, whereas most of the stuff that I've seen by him has been in color, or colored by other people, not just him. Anyways, really enjoying this. Can't wait to finish it. So I actually just started volunteering for my friend's comic book shop in exchange for some kind of training and stuff. I've worked in bookstores, but never at comic book shops, and even though I've applied to them in the past, I honestly do feel that comic book shops in general, just like record stores, are very sexist and pretty much just run by men, and they just employ like their best friends and stuff, who are generally also men. I don't know, I made this post online the other day about how I thought it was, I kind of hate going into comic book shops sometimes, most of the time, like in the same way that I hated having to go to a record store to buy records. There's only one place in town where I will buy records to this day, because I know I can go in there and not be treated like crap, but it's still a thing. You can still go into record shops and have people be like complete jerks about the records that you choose to buy, and these are the salespeople. It's so confusing to me. Anyways, comic book stores are very similar to that, at least for a woman. I don't know about the men's experience. Maybe you can tell me in the comments below. Maybe you're also treated like crap. But anyways, I've been volunteering at my friend's comic book shop just because they don't have any employees, and at this time aren't able to hire any. Maybe in the future they will, but I've been going through their backstock and helping them, you know, create bundles, like bundles to resell and stuff in like the backstock anyway. So it was really fun rifling through all these boxes and kind of alphabetizing and organizing and trying to pick out runs and stuff like that, and being like, oh, I think this one's actually worth quite a bit of money here, and you know, let's look it up online, blah blah blah. So that was fun, and they were nice enough to give me some comics. So they gave me 2 of the Baltimore, if I can get it, Baltimore stories from 2014. I hadn't read these ones, and I hadn't actually read anything by Baltimore besides little like tidbits and in previews and stuff like that, and like some like sample pages and things that get published in articles. And I've always wanted to read Baltimore, so I'm really excited. I started with The Witch of Harju, and it had this really great concept in it. One of the men in this village that got basically cursed, I guess. He ends up, the curse is that he can't, everything he eats tastes like dung, and then So gross. Then he loses his sight, but it's said that he still sees. It's just that he only sees into hell. He can't see anything in our world, so he just looks at hell 24/7 and then dreams about hell. And I was like, what a great concept for a curse. That'd be terrifying. Would you get desensitized to hell if you had to look at hell 24/7? I don't know, but anyway, that was really good. Creative curse, I thought. Anyway, I hadn't heard one like that. Perhaps it exists somewhere else, but so yeah, I'm really enjoying Baltimore. This one's from 2014. Now, there were recent Baltimore stories that have come out. As you know, it's Mike Mignola, so he kind of just, I feel like he just publishes things when he feels like publishing things, and everything can kind of go on his schedule now anyway, so, you know, it's Mike Mignola. He can do whatever the hell he wants. So I'm also reading quite a few digital comics on my Fire tablet. This is the Amazon Fire tablet. I think I was showing you guys. I've showed you guys a few times. Anyway, I'm reading Gideon Falls, which is Jeff Lemire's new series with Image Comics. I'm actually on a big Lemire kick right now, to be honest with you. This one is drawn by Andrea Sorrentino? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And it's quite pretty, actually. Let me just see if I can show you. Screen to screen never really works out very well, but anyway, it's quite lovely. The colors, of course, look a little bit strange, but anyway. And this is like a post-apocalyptic type kind of deal, I guess you could say. It kind of starts out feeling that way. I'm not 100% sure. And then you follow this preacher around, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. Also just finished reading a huge, well, all of Royal City to date, and I actually wrote a big article on it, so you can check that out on thefrogqueen.com. It's the latest article that I've written, and it's just all about Royal City, why you should be reading Royal City, and why aren't you currently reading it, because you should be, because it's so good, so good. And I feel like even though people keep comparing it to like Essex County, even though people keep comparing it to that, I really feel like it is an entirely different story, and it really does stand out to me for his work. It doesn't feel like any of his other books. And of course, my favorite Lemire book to date is still Sweet Tooth, and this is a completely different story from that. But anyways, go check it out. Go check out my article on thefrogqueen.com. As you know, there are tons of other articles on there, as well as different creator interviews that I've written over the years, so you could always use the search bar and actually find a bunch of articles I've written on thousands, probably, of comics. I don't know how many now. I've been writing it for a very long time, so like a decade. So a decade worth of comics articles. Anyway. Let's see. Also, this is a weird thing. I read the first issue of Oblivion Song, and that's the new Robert Kirkman, and it claims to be the first new series from Robert Kirkman in 4 years, and I think that's because he does have some ones that are all, as you know, currently running besides The Walking Dead on Image Comics. And I don't think Kirkman even works for the big two at all anymore. But Oblivion Song is a post-apocalyptic story, and it's pretty cool. It deals with multiple dimensions, which there's hinted at, of course, some religious context to that, but nobody really knows. They assume it's an alien dimension, and it's not an actual human dimension. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with Earth. It's completely separate. But, I mean, it's only one issue so far, so I don't know. Now, then I was like on Instagram, and I saw someone post a complete hardcover of Volume 1 of Oblivion Song, and I was like, what? This is confusing. I read all the advertising saying that this was a brand new Image Comics series, so I'm wondering if perhaps this was published somewhere in some other format by somebody other than Image Comics before, and then I started to try and dig on Google and I couldn't even find any information about that. So I just found this weird Instagram photo by somebody saying, hey, here's the first volume of Oblivion Song, and it wasn't Kirkman, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't the artist. So I was like, who the hell was it? I can't even remember. It was just like some random person with like 300 followers, and it was super confusing. So if anyone has any information on that, please let me know, because I'd like to know. And I finally got a copy of Rich Tommaso's Clover Honey. I haven't got to open it up yet. I will be reading that this week, but that's what I'm currently reading. I know that I've read tons of other comics in the last few weeks that I've never gotten the opportunity to mention on this channel, but that I honestly can't remember, because I've read them and I read so many a day. So they just kind of, you know, escape me sometimes. I try to make these lists of comics that I've read so I can like talk about them online, and then I'm like, I actually have like writer's block trying to write the list of all the comics that I've read, which is just ridiculous. Anyway. In other news, I did want to say that I finally did establish my company, Gutter Magic Operations Management, for the creatively employed, meaning people who create comics. So there we go. I'm kind of operations management. I'm basically management and social media, marketing, promotional. I do all those kinds of things for comic book creators that are both new and established. So I got this cool mug, and yeah, that's my new logo. So still working on the website. It's guttermagic.ca, but it's not finished. I'm still working on it. My partner is building it for me, and I'm slowly writing it and trying to piece together with images and stuff. So it's a work in progress, but I'm just officially open for business this weekend. So very excited. Got my business cards. I feel all a fish now. And now I have to go get a tattoo or something. Anyways, it has been great chatting with you. Please chat with me in the comments below, because I feel like there's so much going on in the comic book world right now that I'd love to talk about. And would like to hear what you think about it, and what you are currently reading, and what you think about these books if you've read any of the ones that I've mentioned. And other than that, until next time, read something good. Bye!